going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Replay Gang. This episode, my guest today is a brilliant comedian, writer, and actress. She's a co-host of the Family Jewels podcast, and she's had a string of top-rated shows and specials, including Homecoming, Just Friends, and Prawn Cocktail. She hosted the OK Computer Tech show for Radio 4, and her new live show is called Olga Koch Comes From Money. Olga Koch, welcome to the Replay Gang.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
No, thank you for joining us. Tell them about the reverse Santa Claus that you're wearing as well.
Look, I would say that podcast being a filmed medium is a thing that's been happening for maybe the past 5 years. And yet every single time I go onto a podcast and see a camera, I'm always just like, wait, this is on video? So if you are listening to this, I would like you to know that I am fully wearing a red t-shirt and a white bathrobe, which I have now coined as the reverse Santa Claus.
I respect it. Listen, I'll give away secrets. I'm wearing my gym tracksuits and my house slippers. So
oh my God.
There you go. So as far as I'm concerned, everyone's supposed to feel comfortable when you're having a conversation. And if you're comfortable this way and I'm comfortable this way, it's going to be the best conversation. That's how I see
it's the coziest podcast there ever was.
There you go. How have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm fine. I'm good. I am currently doing my Soho run, which is very, very exciting. Nice. And I get to put a suit on for the performance, and it's the closest I get to feel to a day job as a comedian. When you go into the same location every day and you put your suit on. Am I doing it only for 1 hour instead of 8? Sure, but baby steps.
There is something about wearing a suit that we don't get to do, that every time that we do, whether it be like a family function, a wedding or anything, or a corporate event, when we wear a suit, we really thoroughly enjoy being in some really like tight threads that make us look really upper class and very central London, as rather than the comfortables that we always wear to get on stage so we can move around and so on.
Because it feels like a costume. It feels like it's like Halloween fancy dress.
Yeah. Okay, and how's the run going?
It's okay. It's all right, I think. It's a 9:15 show. It's a 9:15 show, so I'd say that expecting people on a Friday or a Saturday at 9:15 p.m. to be completely sober is delusional, and if anything, rude.
You've had a few of the rowdy ones then.
I wouldn't say rowdy. I'd say like a little sleepy, maybe. I don't judge them. The thing is, it's like it's cold outside. You go into a dark, warm room after having a couple of mulled wines. You're gonna want to take a little nap.
Well, listen, let's talk gaming firstly. Where would you say you are in terms of gaming? Is it your thing? You enjoy it a little bit? You enjoy it a lot? Talk to me.
Aurie, I have so many opinions on gaming. I would say like my top. I want to say like if you are watching this, there's a poster behind me for a show that I did called If Then, and it was vaguely about computing because I did computer science at university. And one of the routines I did in it was that like people talk about gaming being a male thing. But if you look at gaming altogether, 50% of gamers are women. They just do like casual gaming on your phone, like Candy Crush is technically gaming, right? So I think I am a very passionate gamer, but when I tell you what it is, I'm a daily gamer, but it's a series of New York Times crossword puzzles. I also go every single day, play a game called Spottle, play a game called Harmonies, play a game called Minute Cryptic, and play a game called Clapperboardle. None of them are like console games, but I genuinely am addicted to like 6 games that like my day is not finished. I can't go to sleep if I haven't completed them every single day.
Listen, everyone has their views passionately about gaming that somebody else right next to them would completely disagree with. All games are gaming, whether it be on consoles, PCs, mobile. There'll be people that like are very pro PlayStation, anti Xbox, and they are the closest thing to each other in the console gaming market. but yeah, if you're on an Xbox, you're not really a gamer, and yes, you are. So there's no judgment here. When you say that you play those games and you're doing it on a day-to-day basis, you probably have more time to play games than somebody who's, I don't know, the people we talk about, the 9-5ers that have to wear a suit all the time and then get to and from work and then go home to look after the kids and the family. Then that person who gets to play maybe his console once every 2 weeks when the family might be off to a kid's birthday party or something like that. So believe me, you are just as much a gamer as anybody.
This is
It's
a very
all
specific
included.
person that you're painting. Is it you by any chance?
No, well, no, I don't work. You know me, I don't work a 9 to 5 anyway, and I don't have children to have to worry about, so I'm all good. Listen, as long as it's a game, as long as it's leisure, as long as you can have fun and spend some time just not being a real person and being a cupcake in like whatever world that you're in, you're playing a video game as far as I'm concerned. So yeah,
thank you. That's
everyone's
really
included.
validating to me.
No problem. No one's left behind. Do you remember your first ever like experience with video games, or the first game you ever played?
Well, I wonder. Okay, well, first of all, I think there was like Tamagotchis, which were huge in the 90s. So that was. Yes. But the thing is, it kept dying because I couldn't really figure it out. I think it was too young. So I think if anything, I don't know if that was the intention of the creator, but like it made me at age 4 think way too much about death. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, there was a real like tenderness to them. You had them on your little key ring, and every moment in school you'd keep checking to see if it was still alive or needed feeding. And yeah. I remember those.
So that was one of them, and then the other, basically, I think I'm of a very like not unique generation, but there's like a type of millennial who was even though was the child of the family, because of the place and time in the 90s, you were the keeper of the computer. You would be explaining to your mom or dad how to print something or how to whatever, because like you grew up with that technology and they were kind of learning it at an older age. So I was very much the keeper of the computer in my family. Yeah. If anybody needed anything printed, honey, you had to deal with me, even though I was like 6 or whatever. So I was doing a fair bit of gaming on that. I distinctly remember there were a lot of like very girly games in the 90s. So there were like a lot of like Barbie cornered the market on girl games. Dressing Barbie up, putting makeup on Barbie, so many Barbie things. And then after that, it obviously transitioned into The Sims. Yes. But I think before there was Sims, there was Barbie for sure.
I think a lot of the toy market saw the digitization of entertainment for children and said, you know what, we need to jump on this. So how do we go from, it was Barbie's Mattel, isn't it? So I think how do we go from us being the producers of these dolls where everyone's getting bored of playing with tactile toys to then going to a digital market? And you saw it happen with Barbie. You saw it happen with Hot Wheels, the cars. You saw it happen with like Transformers. Well, they were already a cartoon, but when they had the toys and they went into like the video games, even down to DC and Marvel characters, you had the side-scrolling little Batman games and
the Harry Potter game.
Oh, the Harry Potter, the recent one that you've played.
No, I played the first ever Harry Potter video game.
Oh, that's going back in like 2001 or 2, something like that. Yeah. But there you go. So there were toys that became memorabilia, which used to be toys when we were younger, more so, because everyone would play with the games itself, and then the collectibles would be the toys, which when we were much younger were our actual toys. So everything started to shift over. So yeah. I mean, I can imagine the amount of Barbie games that came out every year. There'd be a new one of something. They probably had to do that because nobody was buying the toys anymore, because everyone was like, it's cool to go on a computer or to play on my Mega Drive or my Nintendo or whatever at the time. So I never thought about the urgency to transfer from toys to... So yeah, okay. Oh, that's Big just time. Woken my head up to something. Yeah, thank you for that.
I'm so glad. When there was a hot minute, I don't know if they still do it, but there would be the sort of like the Barbie that gets plugged into the computer and maybe you like get her to say stuff. I vaguely remember this, but there was an attempt to tie in both the video game and the physical Barbie together. I mean, they were really rinsing our parents dry. Holy fucking shit.
Oh, I remember that. There was all you download a bit of software and you could program what it could say on there, like it would change the voice, or it might oh my gosh, I remember these. I had a Terminator toy, which is really weird to have as a toy for a kid, where Terminator was quite a graphic movie for adults, but then they started to make the toys for children from Terminator 1 and 2, and you can plug one in and it would have the voice box, but you could download more things that it could say as time went along. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. Memories. Look at you unlocking memories in my mind now. That's great.
I'm just thinking, what are they doing now? Are people buying physical toys anymore? I assume they are.
Only more as collector's items, not as much as... I mean, you've got the crossover ones now. We see if you have a Switch, you can get an amiibo, which is almost just like a small little doll or like a stand. I don't have one here, do I? No, but it would look just like this. So this is from Fallout. It would look like this, and it would have
cute.
an NFC. It's all right, isn't it? The little bobblehead there with the thumb on it, which is quite a dark. If you've watched the TV show, it's quite dark if you know what the thumb means. But
I have no idea what it means.
I'll tell you in just a bit. But you have like an amiibo where it's got a little NFC chip in it where it would store your game saves, and you can play on anyone's Switch and it will transfer your game save into their Switch. So it's more like a memory card. Exactly,
yeah.
But a little collectible memory card thing. As for the thumb, if you watch the Fallout TV series, it looks really cool because it's just a dummy that's standing with a thumb up. It's called Fallout Boy. Basically, if you can see a mushroom of a nuclear explosion and you put your thumb up at arm's length and the mushroom cloud is bigger than your thumb, then there's no point running. You're going to be hit by the radiation.
They've ruined the thumbs up. They've made a thumbs up sad.
Oh, it's a great TV show. Watch Fallout on, I think it's on Prime. It's great. But yeah, it's as soon as I saw that in the first opening scene of it, I was like, that's incredible and freaky at the same time. So yeah. So you would say your first console wasn't really a console, you were the keeper of the PC. So you're kind of
PC gamer, baby.
Oh, through and through. So you'd never really jumped onto consoles. It's always been PC and gaming on your phone.
As the farthest I've gone into a quote unquote console was on a crippling addiction to Guitar Hero.
Oh, there's a comeback for Guitar Hero now. There's like a whole new thing where people are doing this again and buying peripherals rather than the whole guitar though. Just the little buttons that you have, the 5 buttons that you could just press and add it to the top of your control. So you could have the little controller and just do that. I've seen it recently. Honestly, look it up. Loads of people playing Guitar Hero. It's like the past 2 months, everyone's been going crazy for it.
The millennial addiction to Guitar Hero, I would say graduated a whole generation of really people who have fantastic finger technique, and we only have Guitar Hero to blame.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I won't say more.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm not gonna. I will not expand. I'll let you. If you want to, you can. I'm not expanding on that one. But thank you to a whole generation of people who got their practice in. Weird question. Would you say Barbie was like the character that you resonated with growing up because it was the first one you got like to play as a video game character, or were there other characters you went, well, this is more of who I am growing up?
Ooh, that's a really good question. There was a genre of game, which to this day, I realize that is like quite, not niche, but it's not the most popular type of game, where you like essentially, what's the name? Is it like point and click when you like almost solve a mystery by just like touching a thing and then discovering what it is? I think, is that what it's called? Because the most recent one I played is it Gone Home, the big indie game where a girl comes back home and it's completely empty. And that was really, really exciting. So I distinctly remember there being a game, I want to say it came from South America, I might be making this up, called Runaway, and it was like our very early 2000s, and it took over my life and it was just like a really sexy rebellious girl and a guy who was obsessed with her. And to this day, I think to me, like there was definitely lots of like sexy girls doing gaming, like Lara Croft, etc., like badass chicks doing their thing. And just the one that I landed on was this girl with purple hair from Runaway, I believe. And that's, if I come back to the games that I played and thinking like, oh, I wish I was like her, it was her.
Often people look at characters in games, like you mentioned Lara Croft, and as a woman, you would like, there'll be the idea that men would look at women thinking they'd want to be like Lara Croft. But Lara Croft was built by men because
for men.
We wanted to hypersexualize a character for men. But then when you speak to other women who look at video games characters, it's always someone with more depth. It's always someone with a story. The producers and developers of games at that time would go, let's make a woman with big tits and a curvy bum and let her be able to jump and shoot guns. And no woman looked at that and went, that's a bit of me. Lara Croft is no one's favorite I want to be character. Like ever, when I speak to people, no one ever goes, I really wanted to be Lara Croft back in the day. No one does.
Look, Aurie, you make a really compelling point, and I think it's ultimately feminist, and I think it is ultimately right. So you are correct. But I did just look up for the first time in 20 years the girl from Runaway, and this is what she looks.
Oh, okay, all right. That means my point might be
absolutely
null and void.
I was like, all of you are correct, and I'm like, oh my god, this woman has a complete tits so big she would topple over if she was a real person. Okay, but he's the nerd because he's wearing the glasses.
Okay. I take it all back then. Men, back in the
I feel
toxic
terrible.
era, seems like you were correct. All right, then you win. 1-0 to toxicity again. What about greatest video game of all time that you ever remember playing?
Greatest video game of all time that I remember playing. Oh my God. If I'm being completely
Yeah.
honest, I think it's called Food Truck Chef. Oh, what a fantastic mobile game.
Food trucks.
Absolutely. You know what? I stand by it. I've played
Okay.
your best. I've watched people play FIFA and Fallout and Portal and I don't know, Mortal Kombat. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I apologize. Food Truck Chef. It's a mobile game that you just cook food in a food truck and people keep ordering more and more and you have to keep up with the orders.
Oh,
It's
wow.
addictive, man.
I love games like that. There's no end and they keep going and going and they're so easy to get into and then so easy to get stuck in. I really do enjoy games like that. So that you have no judgment from me.
I truly love it. And then it's like they capture the speed with which you need to make it more complicated, just like perfectly.
Nice.
And it's like at first you're like, it's a little easy, and then it's getting harder, but then you sell enough hamburgers to buy a grill that fits more hamburgers so you can grill more hamburgers at the same time so you can accommodate more orders.
I used to get addicted to the theme games, theme park world and theme hospital.
Is it like Roller Coaster Tycoon or what's it called?
Theme park was one of them, but Roller Coaster Tycoon was a more realistic, grounded one where it felt like it was a real theme park you could build. Whereas theme park world would build ridiculous things that could never exist. But it would still be very much the same mechanics of more people come in, some people are getting bored, some people are hungry, you've got to build toilets, and if you don't have enough or the park is not clean, you have to make sure it's been cleaned, and if there's too much sugar in the food, then people start to get sick when they ride the rides. If it's not sugary enough or not salty enough, then they go, the food is bland, and they complain. You've got to find the right balance. And
Oh my God, I love that.
Oh, there's one 2 Point Hospital, which is the exact same game as Theme Park Hospital, but it was they revamped it. So I think new publishers bought it, changed the name of it, and you can play it now. They've also got 2 Point Campus, which is you run a university. And it's the same thing again. You've got to make sure that there's enough classes to attract new students, and that you've got janitors, you've got people that are like security guards, because when they start graffitiing the schools, you've got to make sure you capture who these people are. They start ruining the schools. They are so addictive. So I'm not here judging you about food truck.
All right. First of all, that's amazing. First of all, what you're describing is the dream game. And second of all, why are we talking about games causing violence? But why are we not talking about games causing a whole epidemic of urban planners?
Like
are you
SimCity
you're scared
and
your
stuff
kid?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're scared your kid is gonna get into urban planning.
Could you imagine understanding the system of economics and how to make sure you can build a great cityscape? Oh no, we don't want that to happen.
A mother begging her kid to go outside and play with a ball. And he's like, no, we need more infrastructure. We can't accommodate all this traffic.
Exactly. There's a real part of you that feels like you could run a hospital when you play these games. Like you are more than qualified to be the owner of a theme park just because you built a roller coaster that kids didn't get sick on because there wasn't enough sugar in the food, but the right amount of sugar where they could go, it was delicious enough. Yeah.
Next time you go to Thorpe Park, you're checking out the beams. You're going, this can't hold.
I would have done this better, and that should have been purple. Yeah. Like, what's going on here? What game inspired? That might be one of the questions I might add to this. You know, what game inspires you for the work that you do? Because there are some people that really get inspired by the games that they play. Like I've spoken to someone who has, he didn't go into being an aircraft pilot, but he wanted to because he kept playing Flight Simulator. I won't say who it is, but there's an episode where he sits there and he's watching himself fly across the Atlantic for 7 hours in real time from UK to America.
Oh
People
my
do
God.
It. Yeah, it's a real thing.
This person is in the wrong job. Let him fly. Let him
should have
fly.
become a pilot. Yeah, if you've done 7 hours of watching a screen pretending to be a pilot, go and learn how to fly a plane, in my eyes. If a game could inspire you to do that, really go and do it.
Besides, you could do little jokes in the radio when you're doing an announcement on the airplane. One of my favorite things is when they
Exactly.
throw in a little joke. You know when you land in like Seattle and they're like, "Welcome to San Francisco," and then he's like, "Haha, just kidding." That's one of my favorite bits. That's one of my favorite bits.
That would be what I'd seen people do it online. Never had that happen. I've had it when I've been on a train on the underground. It's late at night, and the conductor of the train is talking and singing on the tannoy, like literally singing and then pretending to say, "Hey, you with the glasses reading the porn magazine, I see you," and he can't see anyone, but he's making people look around and feel conscious. I've had that happen, but on a plane that would be hilarious. I have to book a flight, and hopefully that can happen at some point soon. All right, worst game you've ever played. One that you've played and gone, I can't believe I put time into this.
Okay, this is actually quite a sad story. But back in the day, a Nokia phone, after the Snake generation, had a game called Bounce on it. I don't know if
Yes,
anyone remembers it, but it was just a
I
ball
remember.
going through a maze. And I got so horrifically addicted to it, like genuinely addicted, that I like lost my friendship group in middle school. And I remember there was like a
Whoa.
reckoning where I was like, "Why don't you want to hang out with me anymore?" And the girl, I took to memory that I have for the rest of my life now, was like, "You chose Bounce." I was just doing it for hours. Like any break in school, I would just be
Just
playing
on the
Bounce.
phone.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was really, really, really bad. And I remember there was like a level that I couldn't get through, and being like so sort of falling to my knees and being like, "I can't get through to Bounce, and I've lost all my friends." You know, like a person who loses all their money in Vegas, like that's how it
Yeah.
felt. Age 11 during recess.
What was the turning point that made you realize, all right, this might be a bit much now? I mean, you lost your friends, but they probably tapped out a little bit earlier than when you had stopped playing Bounce. When did you get that clarity where you've gone, I've lost my friends and this game has really ruined my life at this moment in time?
The thing is, again, this was what, like 20 years ago, so
Yeah.
it's not completely clear in my mind, but I do distinctly remember getting through that level that was like took me so long to get through and feeling nothing, and that was like, oh fuck, I've been
Wow. But you learned that lesson early that some
yeah,
people are learning now about success, of trying to make money and trying to
yeah.
put everyone to the side and go, no, what's more important is I get to that million. And then you go, look, I've done it. I've now secured this job. I'm up here and so on. And they look around, they got no one to celebrate it with.
My million
Bounce
was the
taught you
next
like
level of Bounce, and
the next level of Bounce. That is it's crazy to think that taught that lesson back then. But I mean, on a sliding scale of ages, that would be the more age appropriate version of getting £1,000,000 and going, but I have no one to spend it with and
yeah.
share it with. So, oh wow, fair enough. Solo, online multiplayer, or face-to-face multiplayer, like types of games. What would you prefer? Games on your own, games with other people online, or being in the room with someone?
Thing is, I really do value doing games with people in the room. So I love to do garage bands where we're all involved. I love to do Just Dance
Yeah,
as a group. Like I think that's so fun when someone comes over and we just do Just Dance together.
of
I
course,
love
yeah.
doing all the Quiplash games. I think they're fantastic. Like what's it called? Jackbox games. Quiplash is one of them.
Okay, yeah,
Where
yeah.
they have like murder mystery, all this stuff. It's so fun to like have people over for dinner and then doing one of those games. So I do think that it's a really underestimated activity, gaming as like a socializing thing, and I'm
Yeah.
not thinking of like two peoples with two controllers playing FIFA or whatever. I'm more of like an almost like physical social thing.
I really like that as well. I talk about this and loads. The party game on Nintendo Wii U. The aspect of it was basically you'd be a ghost and they'd be like a ghostbuster trying to find you, but you're invisible on their screen. And on the little screen that you had in your hand, you could see where they were. You had to sneak up and
Oh,
catch
that's
them.
so
It was
cool.
such a cool game. So I would sit away from everybody and they'd be facing the screen, but I got my little screen with me here and I'm chasing them, and their controllers would start to vibrate the closer you got to them. I never got into Just Dance myself, but I was the more extreme version. Me and my cousins used to use a Dance Dance Revolution machine, the arcade ones. So my cousin had
Wait, did
one.
you buy one for your house?
Not me. I didn't have the money. She had one in her garage. We used to go to the arcades all the time, and then she had one in her garage. We would go and play on DDR machine. So
That
yeah,
is the
I the
dream.
music to DDR, until you start sleeping and hearing Afro Nova Primeval in your mind while you're trying to sleep, and you picture your body doing full like the moves at the same time, like with the feet doing all of this and so on. When you that it was a dream until that gets stuck in your mind, and that's like a song that it's not real music that you've heard in the charts, and you're having to get them and detox them out of your head, because that machine, when it's on, as you've heard in the arcades, when it's on, it's like until you start it, it continues going through some of the music just in like the loading screen and so we'll be chilling between songs and I'm just hearing the music from the DDR machine, and that music is pretty intense. So yeah, it was a dream. A nightmare. Definitely, it was like an earworm that just wouldn't disappear now as all the music from there. And even now, I'm remembering, I can hear Primeval in my head. But
it's amazing that your cousin got an actual arcade machine, because I think the trade-off between like the arcade DDR versus the one that's like a rollout mat, it's like it's night and day. You can't. It's not the same.
It's not the same. You need to step on the pad and see it light up. You can't just be on the pad on the little plastic ones that you get that roll out, and the stamp and the noise that it made when you hit the floor.
Because you're doing rhythm. You are percussion, so you have to have a really hard surface to become the drum. So
exactly.
You can't do that with a rollout mat. I'm sorry, guys.
Not exactly. I'm glad. Let people know that if anyone who thinks differently, it's not the same. Well, some people would say, I'm going to be controversial now. Some people would say that Guitar Hero in GarageBand is not the same as playing real instruments.
What?
I'm just trying to wind you up a little bit.
I resent that. There's also like the singing part of GarageBand that crosses over into karaoke. And sure, karaoke isn't gaming, but in a way, karaoke is my favorite thing in the entire world. So I think that me is the crossover.
Hey, take it. That is your win. As far as I'm concerned, there are guitar people that cannot sing, but in GarageBand you can do it all. So as far as I'm concerned,
exactly. And also, I think basically what we're describing, right? Doing DDR, doing Just Dance, doing the Ghost game, or any of the Jackbox party games at your house is an amazing way to do the holidays without fighting with your family. No politics, nothing. No one's like bullying you for being vegan. You're all just dancing together. It's fun.
What would you say is a game that's banned from your house, that no one's allowed to play this here? I don't want to see it. I don't like it. I don't want to hear the music from it. What game cannot run in my house?
I mean, obviously Bounce, because that would be too re-traumatizing.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I don't, because the thing is, my sister, I'm just thinking about like what happened when I was growing up in my house. My sister's 12 years older than me. So by the time like I was around, she was already in like and sort of gaming loads. She was in her 20s, so she was not doing any of that. And my brother's 10
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And my brother's 10 years younger than me. So by the time he was gaming, so he's gaming now, and he's been gaming for the past 10 years. I wasn't around living with him.
What about the ones that your brothers play that you look and think, that your younger brother plays, you look and think, I don't get why this is even good. Like, why would you even want to play this?
Okay, so the thing is, obviously, like, I grew up around boys. Boys were in my periphery, and I was always aware of people like, oh, the new Halo came out. Not something that I would play, but like I knew that it was happening. But there's some things, like, I remember GTA was huge, and everybody was constantly talking about GTA. Yeah. There is someone who I won't say, but it's a friend of a friend, who completed the entire game, and for fun and to just relax would be just a cab driver in GTA, which is, I think, is one of the funniest things that I've ever heard.
It's a normal thing. People do it. People do it all the time.
Just driving people around?
There are people they'll be police officers, and they'll drive around, and if they see anyone speeding, they'll go and chase them and knock the cars off, or they'll try to stop them and get them to come out. There are people that go into GTA, especially the online version, I'm not joking, and they will drive at the speed that you would drive in real life. They will walk around and do their regular things, shopping and so on. They will live in the game as if they are living a normal life, which to me is crazy to do. Because the game's supposed to be you can do extraordinary, crazy things that you can't do in real life. There are people that do it.
I mean, to be fair, wild. I make fun of them, but I spent, like a decade in The Sims just being like, how do we get all of this furniture into this tiny little square? Do you know what I mean? We all have our stuff.
There are Sim stories. Again, a friend of mine, a very good friend and a good friend to the show, her name's Els. You like The Sims. Els is one of the most addicted people to The Sims I've ever met in my life. Years ago, we did me and her sat down with another friend of ours, and we were talking on a show, and she said just casually out of nowhere, and it blew my mind. This is a thing. She said casually out of nowhere, yeah, I've rebuilt like other monuments and things. I did Wembley Stadium in the Sims. No joke. She did it to scale Wembley Stadium, and then got pictures of different things that are around the stadium on the outside and the inside, and built the entirety of Wembley Stadium to scale. I can't remember how long it took, but it took a very long time for her to do. Believe me, there are people that live their life in games, either in God mode, where they're the ones creating the worlds, like you would get in Minecraft and like in The Sims, or they go into person mode, where they're the person who is built within the game, and they live as if they're in Ready Player One, or as if they're in Free Guy. They literally live their life in these games every day. For me, I would like to do the crazy things I can't do in real life in games, but I can't knock them. They found something in a game where they're in home and they can still have a whole world to themselves.
The greatest minds of our generations, the people who will cure cancer and solve world hunger, are currently building Wembley Stadium in The Sims.
I'm from Wembley, so for me, it's an iconic monument from where I'm from. So you can imagine when I heard her say that she's done that.
Did you see it? Did she show it to you?
I've seen it on her social media. It's
amazing.
Olga, it's insane how big the thing is in the game. One more question. If you could make a video game based around your life, what would it be and how?
Oh my God, I love that so much. I love that so much. You know what?
I was thinking like, life as well.
No, because I was thinking like, is it that you sort of like level up through comedy? I think that's really boring. No, I mean, no offense to anyone whose game that is. That was my first thought. I think if this was mine, I would do a Just Dance garage band hybrid where you have to do my stand-up routines. And like you sort of karaoke the lines of the jokes, but you also have to do like delivery, you have to do the physicality, you have to do all the motions, and then like you work your way up to, I don't know, doing Live at the Apollo or whatever. But basically the thing is, and you could do, it won't just be my routines, you could do any routine you want. You could do the Chris Rock Bullets routine, you could do the George Carlin 5 words routine, whatever you want, right? But essentially, you pick a routine, and then just doing it flatly is like you'll get a terrible score, right? Like those karaoke machines, they give you a score. So you really need to commit to it.
Like comedy.
Just comedy.
Do you know what? That might be a thing. And do you know it would be great? We get hecklers all the time that think they could do our job better than we can. All right, well then get up and do it. Show us. Here you go. Just comedy. Go on, put some charisma and some whatever you want to put it onto our comedy and see if you could do it better. And I guarantee Gary from Telford is going to not do so well, even though he was the one who opened his mouth to try and tell you to be quiet halfway through. So yeah, just comedy.
And then there's like hard mode, because it's like there's a bachelorette party and they're drunk. Hard mode.
I love that. You got to tell, it's not going to be really disrespectful.
It's a corporate. Good luck.
A corporate or a Christmas party. Or better yet, you're a comedian. How should I even say this? Yes, I should. You're a comedian in the South, and you have to perform in the North to a crowd that don't like you already because you're from the South and they are from the North. And because there's a very different style of comedy that they have up there, which is very rowdy, raw. And then if you're from the South, where you understand a lot more of the people around you from all different walks of life, you're trying to be considerate, and they're going, no, you got to do this. And you still got to try and keep to your morals. And I'm going too deep into my, into the,
I understand what you're saying.
And
so in terms of gameplay, like it's someone's constantly trying to interrupt you.
It's not a bad.
I think there's potential here.
You might be onto something there. Speak to the Just Dance people and see if they'll do one Just Comedy. Comedy's such a huge medium now for people. Why not? Tap in and see. It could be a nice bit of novel. Yeah, just laughs. There you go. Do you know, there is a part of me that, because your life is so interesting, for those who don't know about Olga, in just a sentence, like, what's Olga from young till now in terms of who she is and how she ended up in comedy? How would that be? Like, what were the things that you did? And I guarantee you can see a game in there somewhere. Go.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Russia. Then my family moved to Germany. I moved to the UK, but I went to an American school, and that's why I have an American accent. And then I went to the US, where I studied computer science, and then I worked in the tech world for 7 years. And now I'm a stand-up comedian here in London.
Okay, so with all the respect I can give to this. See what I'm saying? All the respect I can give to this, to me, if there was like a huge adventure game that you could have, Olga in the day is a comedian, right? People know her, she's a comedian, she's great at what she does. It's kind of like giving Kim Possible, where in the daytime, she's just your everyday girl, does the great stuff and so on. But in the nighttime, she's this well-traveled tech wizard who, I don't know, fights crime or saves the world in many different ways because of all the things she has learned along the way. And she has a team of people that she's met from all these places that she's traveled and so on. But in the daytime, they just know her as this amazing, like, stand-up comedian, if that makes sense. Like, your life is so interesting when you see where you've lived.
That's very kind.
Mate, listen, I'm a Londoner who's born and raised in London. Yes, I've traveled so many places because of comedy. Before that, I did kids' parties. There is not a video game that I'm going to want to do where kids' parties are involved, or then when I worked in retail. And then I've come out now as a comedian, and it's great, but I've not lived in different countries. I've got a marketing degree. You are key in tech. Do you understand what I'm saying? In the world where right now tech is something that is it's got so much stake, whereas 20 years ago, it was still kind of a rising trade. There's so much you could do game-wise.
Okay, so you know how in World War II, who was it? There were like, oh my God, there were like all these actresses and singers that were actually spies as well. So they would be like infiltrating. So like, what if me being a comedian is just like a cover for being a spy? So I'm like pouring. I'm pouring.
See? And that would be a great game as well, like an adventure game of some sort, if you could like picture it in any way. I don't know why. Why am I creating a game for you for your life?
Because I'm like maybe like I'm sort of negotiating deals in the green room because it's like a private space backstage. It's like putting you on the guest list. I'm not sure. Something's going on there.
One of the levels is you have to deliver a message to one of the audience members who is the person receiving the information, but you got to do it within the comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, like audience interaction. Be like, yeah, how far have you come?
There you go. See, I love.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting my creative bag and creating a game for your life, and it's not even my life to do that. I'm so sorry, Olga. My apologies. Listen, we got a game that we play on this show, on this podcast. It's called L or R. It's a quick fire game. I give you one of two options, and you just got to pick one of them real quick. Okay, here we go. Quick fire questions. PC gaming or mobile gaming?
Mobile. Sorry.
No problem. Super Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog?
Super Mario. Italian excellence.
Hey. Good character choices or evil character choices?
Evil character choices. Good character choices are for your real life.
Okay, fair enough. Only be able to play games you've already completed, or only be able to play new games you've never tried?
Only play new games.
What about, you wouldn't miss some of the old ones that you've played before?
I've completed them. What am I going to be, a taxi driver in them? No.
Shots fired. Hey. All right. A partner who forever hates video games or a partner who forever beats you at the video games that you love?
Oh, beats me. That's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Some people get really passionate, like they enjoy the games they can complete, but if their partner beats them all the time, it's like, why am I, like, you just keep, why do I even play this?
But I got to play Guitar Hero. It's almost like, do I get to play Guitar Hero or do I not get to play Guitar Hero? I don't care if I lose. It's all in the game.
So you're not very competitive in that sense where, some people get really addicted to having to win. You're not that person.
I think I'm competitive in things that I like sort of think that I'm good at, and video games aren't one of those things. So
that's fair enough. All right, TV shows and movies based on games, or games based on TV shows and movies?
Oh, TV shows based on games. I thought Last of Us was fantastic.
Oh, that's great. It's fantastic, isn't it? And honestly, if you like that, you'll like Fallout. You really will like Fallout.
Okay, I should watch.
Definitely. There are some, though, that will... It's only recently that people can really say TV shows and movies based on games, because when you go back like 10, 15 years and before that, they weren't really good. Like, the Tomb Raider movies were not fantastic.
Yeah, but what games that are based on movies are good? Like, I know that the Harry Potter ones are terrible.
Games based on movies... Well, I'm not really huge on the Harry Potter game, but people said it was kind of... I think real Harry Potter fans loved it, but it's not
Okay.
It's not the best. But games based on TVs and movies, Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings games are really, really, really good.
Interesting. Okay.
Mad Max is a fantastic game, and that's based on the movie Mad Max. There aren't as many as I'd like to say there should be. I want to say Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is based on the comic rather than the movie itself. But the Spider-Man game, the second one that came out on PlayStation 2, it's one of the best like comic book games that were ever made, but it's based on the Spider-Man 2, the movie. So there's a handful. There's a handful. You are right in saying what you're saying. There are some terrible ones. But you have some good ones, like Aladdin and The Lion King. Those two were really good ones when they came out, but there are some terrible ones. You are right there. Live in a world based on video games or have video games characters live in this world.
Oh my God, live in a world that's in a video game. Are you kidding me? I would love that.
Which one?
I live in Farmville. Are you kidding? I would love to live in Farmville. I have a lovely time.
Farmville's a good one. Farmville's a really good one. Oh, if you like Farmville, I keep suggesting it to people because loads of people say Farmville. Stardew Valley. Have you ever played that?
No, but I have heard of it.
It's Farmville.
Animal Crossing, any of those cozy games would be lovely to live in. Just go picking strawberries. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to sound insane that I say this. I would not mind living for a year in the world of God of War, which is kind of like... I don't even know what
that is. I'm going to look that up.
God of War. It's a huge game on the PlayStation. God of War and God of War Ragnarok.
Okay, so it's like fantasy. That is cool. That does look cool.
Yeah.
It looks a bit cold.
Like fake... It is very cold. But I actually like the cold more than I do the warmth, which is because I get to wrap up warm. Yeah, it's very like
Game of Thrones vibes.
Very much so. And I'd like to just see what that would be like to live in that kind of time and era with all these huge kind of characters that you have in there as well.
Yeah, and then it's like, sorry, I got to go feed my dragon again. Ooh, he gets hungry.
Exactly that. Listen, Olga, you've been fantastic. Thank you for coming onto the show. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, anytime. Let anyone who is listening know where they can catch you and things that you're doing. You said you're doing the solo theatre run now. Anything that's coming up that people can check out?
Follow me on Instagram at Colga300. I post everything there. I am taking my show across the world in 2025. So if you live, I want to say anywhere, I'll come to you.
She's serious as well. Last time I saw Olga was in New Zealand. That's how far she travels. We both were out there doing the festival.
Yeah.
And because we did I arrived, I think you were going at the time that I arrived. How was your time in New Zealand?
Oh, I love New Zealand. I'll go every year. I love there. So yes, you no need to come to see me do stand up. I'll come to you and perform to you.
I love that. Thank you, Olga. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Guys, we'll see you next episode. Peace. You've been listening to Aurie Styla's Replay Gang. The show is written and presented by me, Aurie Styla, and produced by Matt Nida. Replay Gang is a Wild Ambitions production. Leave us a rating, tell your friends, and we'll be back with another episode next week.